Hi everyone, I just wanted to make a video about something that I just noticed the other day that I thought was really interesting, and I wanted to go ahead and share it with you. And I just want to explain how this came about. A few days ago I watched this video over here by Jonathan Kleck, and as you can see I commented on the video because I believe the scripture confirms what's being revealed here in this video. But I found something else since then that I thought was really interesting. So I just want to go ahead and explain what I found, but this may get a little complicated, so I hope you bear with me as I try to explain all of this. But I think you'll see how amazingly the scripture confirms what's being decrypted here by Jonathan Kleck, how he's decrypted this mural that's in the Sistine Chapel. And what he's explaining in this video is how this mural is actually an image of a dragon. And I've got the show notes over here so you can see the images. But this is a mural that's in the Sistine Chapel at the Vatican, as you can see here. And when you look at the side-by-side photos, you can see how it looks like a dragon. If you look at the two side by side here, you see this image of a dragon, and you see how it resembles the mural. You can see the two eyes and the mouth, and so it closely resembles this image of a dragon. Then when you get up close, you see that in one eye there's this beam, and then in the other eye there's a cross. And so Jonathan Kleck related this to the scripture in Matthew 7:3, where Jesus said, "And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that's in thine own eye?" So in one eye you have a beam, and then in the other eye there's a mote. And Jonathan Kleck, earlier in the video, he was talking about the words that were used in the Greek, as you can see right here. And he pointed out this word right here for the word mote. In the Greek, it's the word karphos, as you can see right here. It's this word. And I immediately recognized the word because it's a word that I've talked about before. It's the same word that's used here in Zechariah 4:10, where it says, "For who hath despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those seven. They are the eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro through the whole earth." And in this scripture, Zerubbabel is a type of Christ, and he was in charge, along with Joshua. They were in charge of building the second temple. But this is prophetic of the third temple, which will be a temple that is not made with hands, because over here it says, "Who art thou, O great mountain?" Well, actually, first it says, "Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. Who art thou, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shoutings, crying, Grace, grace unto it." And so Jesus is the headstone, the chief cornerstone of the temple, and the third temple will be built by grace. It's by the Spirit of the Lord. It's not by power or by might. It's a spiritual temple that's being talked about here, that's being prophesied about. And so you see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel, which is a type of Christ, and he's using this to measure the temple. And there's actually two words in the Hebrew that make up the word for plummet, and it's these two words right here. The first word means stone, and over here it says precious stone, and of course Jesus is a chief cornerstone, the precious stone that's talked about in 2 Peter. It's actually in 1 Peter 2:6. I always get that mixed up. And it says here, wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. And so Jesus is a chief cornerstone that's placed on the temple. He's the headstone, which is what this word means as well in the Hebrew. And then there's another word in the Hebrew for plummet, and it's this word right here. And this means alloy, tin, or dross. And over here it says stannum, i.e. plumbum nigrum alloy, found in ore mixed with silver, which is separated from it by means of fire. And this will make more sense later when I show you the other word that's used in the Greek, what that word is. Okay, so in the Greek you have these 2 words right here. This first word is lithon, which means a stone or rock, just as in the Hebrew. One of the words was stone. And like we said, Jesus is the chief cornerstone. And then the second word is this word right here. And if you copy and paste this word and do a Google search, you'll find out that it's the same word as this word right here that was used in Matthew 7:3, the word karphos. It was the word for mote over here in 7:3. And as you can see, if you look at the bottom, you see that this is a form of the same word. This is just a different inflection of the same word. So it's the same word that's used in Matthew 7:3. And as you can see here, it means a dry stalk, chip of wood. And over here it says properly a small particle, a splinter of straw or wood, a dry stalk, or a chip of wood. Okay, so I noticed that right away when Jonathan Kleck was pointing it out in this video over here, but I didn't think that much of it until he got to the point of what he was trying to make in this video about how they're actually using this beam here to try to crush the Lion of Judah. What he noticed is that the image on the back of this person right here, once he flipped it upside down, because this is at the bottom, and they're using the beam to try to crush the Lion of Judah. And so you can see the image of a lion on his back. And so it started to make more sense then why they would be trying to remove the mote, which is actually what's used to measure the temple. Because as I said, this word also means a dry stalk. And then if you go to Revelation 11, over here where John is given a reed like unto a rod, and he's told to measure the temple. And of course, as we know, it's actually Jesus who measures the temple, because the third temple is built by Christ, and Zerubbabel and Joshua were a type of Christ in the Old Testament, and the second temple was just a type of the third temple that will be built by Christ. So it's actually Christ who measures the temple, but John is given the reed to measure the temple. And over here in verse 1 it says, and there was given unto me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. And so the word for reed is this word right here. And it actually means a straw. That's what a reed is. I'll just show you some images of reeds over here. And as you can see from this image, when you see the close-up, you can see that it's actually a piece of straw. And so what I was wondering is, why would God use a piece of straw to measure the temple? That didn't seem to make a lot of sense. So I kind of did a little bit of research on this, and it's really interesting what I came up with, and that's what I want to share with you. Okay, now keep in mind that the mote in this mural was depicted as a cross. Okay, so you might be wondering, how do you get a cross from this word right here, this Greek word, which is the word garphos, which means a dry stalk or twig, a straw, or chaff? How do you get a cross from that? Okay, so this may not be reflected in the Strong's, but actually this word right here in the Greek, it actually has more meanings than one. It means more things than just a piece of wood. And so one of the meanings that I recognized, because I just happen to know Greek, and it occurred to me that this word actually means nail in the Greek. It's a word for nail, as you can see here when you put it in Google Translate. And it's not the word that was used in the Strong's in the New Testament, so you're not going to find this meaning for the word in the Strong's, because there was a different word used for nail, but this is a common word for nail in the Greek, as you can see from Google Translate. And then this word that was used in Zechariah, which is another form of the same word, it also has another meaning. And if you put this one in Google Translate, you see that it means stannic. And this is something that I've talked about before. It's in my video that's about Cern. But the meaning for stannic, I'll pull that up in just a second. Okay, the meaning for stannic is tin, especially, well, it says of or containing tin, especially in the tetravalent state. And tetravalent means having a valence of 4. So as you can see, it's got the +4 right there. And the abbreviation for stannic or tin in the periodic table is SN. As you can see here, it's got an atomic number of 50. And so I'm just showing you that that's a symbol for stannic or tin. Okay, and so for some reason I just wanted to look at the Google images for stannic, and this is what I came up with. So as you can see, this is the image of what it would look like in a diagram. And then I pulled up an image for tetravalency, and again you see this image which looks like a cross, but in actuality it's three-dimensional, so it actually looks more like a pyramid, which again would make sense because the implied shape of the pyramid before the capstone, or once the capstone is placed, is a pyramid, because that's the only way you can have the top piece be an angle, the chief cornerstone. So it implies a pyramidal shape. And then these are other two-dimensional images, but it just shows how the molecules are joined together. But again, this still looks like a cross. So it either looks like a cross or a pyramid. And as you can see in this image over here, it actually looks like a right side up and an upside down triangle, which again seems to fit the pattern and confirm the things that Jonathan Kleck has been talking about. But I just thought that was really interesting because I believe that explains why in this other eye you have a cross. And I believe it also explains why God would be using this word right here to measure the temple. As you can see, it has multiple meanings, and it all refers back to the cross. That's what the temple is measured by. It's measured by Christ's finished work on the cross and our belief in that. And I'm about out of time, so thank you for watching, and God bless you.